Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Welcome to Market here at SpartanTrading.com. Welcome. Rebalancing, quarter end, trimming, yada, yada, yada. Some interesting stuff went on the mark, obviously, yesterday. The twins was saying, I personally think I have been reading, there's this debate going on about NVIDIA going after Amazon in terms of on the cloud side, right? And I think some of that money that Mark went into that dunk pool by, well, no, I shouldn't say that, but obviously with the settlement, who knows? Anyways, who knows? But what do we got? We're seeing some stuff going on in Australia that is notable. I continue to tell you this, that Australia is one of the bellwethers for me, at least. Inflation, deflation, yada, yada, yada. And some of their pricing is coming down, at least on the rental side and on the home buying side. So I think that's notable. Your CPI was a little bit higher, right? We did get the Richmond manufacturing, which is really surprising. Don't forget, this is where some of the buildup is happening on the AI side, the data center side. So we've got different pockets of this, right? And one of those is in the Richmond Fed district. And I found that very fascinating that it was softer than expected, right? The Dallas Fed services was better and revenues was better, obviously. Well, better than worse, right? Really interesting stuff going through right now. Does it really matter? Well, it's quarter end, not really. I mean, it does in the sense that whether you believe we're in a recession or we're not in a recession, right? Whether we get the cuts or we don't get the cuts. From a macroeconomic point of view, obviously that's not today, that's not tomorrow. That's 6 months, whether they get a soft landing or don't get a soft landing. And you know the drill, if we do go into a recession, then basically stock prices go down, right? You see rotation, right? And you see it going into bonds and safety value type names, right? I don't know. Okay. I do know that, a lot of this stuff is really sloppy. The data coming out globally, pretty sloppy. Here's the mortgage stuff information, right? Then we have new home sales coming out at 10. Yada, 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 right? And then we do have a 2-year, 17-week, really not much going on. This 5-year note option may be a little interesting. Normally it's the 10-year, but this 5-year, we'll see how that plays out and about, right? So, I mean, summertime. Now FedEx, right? Up nicely this morning, right? That's notable. Paychecks, and then we have obviously Micron, so we have some interesting stuff this afternoon. And then we have, Walgreens, who cares about Walgreens, but Nike as well. So slowly, steadily, and then, it's just statistically, I continue to say the next 3 weeks, statistically, incredibly bullish for the market. It's that simple. An exclamation point. Anyways, so we go from there. German consumer oil falls, European stocks. I mean, this whole Crimea thing, whatever. Anyways, I do think that the reality is the world we live in. I think it's going to be, we are going to continue, especially with AI. A lot of this hacking going on. I think the Russians will be really involved in the election process. If they were involved in the last one, they're going to be involved. And it doesn't really matter. Who knows, right? We do have tomorrow, right, that debate between 2 individuals who I think are not qualified from a cognitive point of view. I am an ageist in terms of, I don't care who you are, what party you represent. No one, I feel, should be allowed to be elected to the president of the United States in their mid to late 70s plus. And then I think Congress also should be doing out probably these octogenarians, right? Stuff like that. Septuagenarians, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Go up, down slightly, so go up slightly. I mean, really not much going on there. That's my personal opinion for what it's worth, and that. But I'll be honest with you, okay? I really don't like, okay, the lack of, and I'll say this again and again, respectfulness and mindfulness at times of posts in this room, okay? I really don't like it. I'm an older person, but one of the tenets I hold on is moral and ethical fiber in terms of mutual respect. And I see a lot of times, I know it sounds funny and yada, 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 whether it's about women, whether it's about this, whether it's about that, politics or whatever, okay? There's no room. And this is the problem I find with a lot of this stuff is, and I'm saying this because it's going to get, I don't care, to be honest with you, if you think that someone's selling stock to basically support a political candidate. I don't care, right? The fact that you're saying it's tied to a political candidate, I do care about, okay? Why they sell it? Don't know. It's being sold. Who sells it? I don't know, okay? But the problem is the lack of mindfulness in this room at times really is fascinating. And I don't care what you think of me. I am going to be the one, okay? I'm going to be the one who basically is going to say, stifle it, okay? Yeah, I said it, okay? And it's not that, it's because it's being tied to things. We have in this room women, believe it or not, we have people of multi-colors in this room, multi-cultures in this room, multi-political leanings in this room, okay? Where does it stop, right? So that's my, that's my service. And we all do it, but the fact is we got to stop doing it, okay? When you talk about someone, then you say something pejorative about them and look up the word, then that to me is not being respectful and mindful. Whether, whomever, I just think it has to stop. Anyways, moving along. And yes, that's me. And yes, whatever. And yes, yada, yada, yada. Okay. US talk stuff on Russia and Iran so long as it doesn't raise gas prices. Whatever. In court, squad member Bowman loses New York Democratic race. I just think this, these extremes, there's no room for it. But we have it. So from a political standpoint, and this is actually true, we see what's going on globally, the extremism, okay? I think that's a slippery slope, okay? What the individuals, the parties that are being elected, I think it's a slippery slope. Anti-immigration, this and that. But it also is reflective of where we are globally, okay? And I think that is impactful, maybe not short term, but intermediate term. I think it does impact, markets as a whole down the line, okay, by those in power, right? So, I don't know. So millions of send migrants back to Africa. So far, just 2 have gone, okay? It's just how to debate. I wonder if anybody's going to watch this debate tomorrow. I don't know. Be interesting, right? Cocaine, rocking my brain. There's an interesting thing about vaping that came out. No, I'm just saying it's going to be interesting to see about tomorrow if anybody's going to watch. I mean, how do you make decisions in terms of election? I'm not talking about politics. I'm wondering if anybody is going to watch tomorrow. Is that a political statement? Oh, yes. You think so too? Okay. Don't forget, seasonality wise, presidential election, and I overlay it, the next well, if you want to know this too, the next, 2 to 4 weeks in a presidential election cycle, I'm very bullish for the month. The next 2 to 4 weeks. And then we start to see it rolling over in September from seasonality wise in terms of the presidential election. That's the market. Okay. And I don't think it matters because it goes back 30 years, right? The cycle. So fear and greed on cryptos. Yeah, this is really fascinating. The brokenness of some of these indices, where we are, where we've been, stuff like that. It's really interesting to see, right? Tommy boy, what's he got going on? Like I said, we did have failure on a lot of stuff on the commodity side, so that's notable. Does that mean we're not going to come back? I don't know, but all these things have uranium, platinum, a lot of these things failed on the breakout. So we just have to keep an eye on this. Silver's coming in as well, so that's all notable. GME, this is a hockey stick formation, just so you know. Approaching the end of the hockey stick, last time the price spiked when this happened. So you can see here the hockey stick. So for those of you who like to play GME, that's what it looks like. NVIDIA is talking about going into cloud business. Well, that's what they're talking about. That they're looking to start competing in that sector. Don't forget, okay, we got NVIDIA saying they're going in the bio side, right? There is discussions that they're going to start competing on the cloud side. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Anyways, FedEx, that, see what else. Okay, so this is the reality, but it's not really the reality. I mean, we feel it with the inversion where we've got it. But it's in theory, 9 months after this, but it didn't happen. So, who cares? Australia. So this is what I'm looking at. This is one of those bubble type things. Australia, we see the rates. Hello, Sammy. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. You have a safe trip, okay?
I love you, Nana.
Pesos, 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 pesos. All right. Anyways, let's see what happens here. Yeah, so this is important, you know, in terms of Australia. I don't know, should I block them? Canada CPI shelter accelerating. I don't know what to tell you about this stuff, you know, it's all out there. Why does it sound? All right, so this is interesting. So this is interesting. So this, according to, basically is saying that NVIDIA's PE multiple is going to get up to 70 this year, by the end of this year. It's kind of interesting. I actually, you know, like I say, I don't have any problem with that because NVIDIA has shown it has the capacity to grow, right? Whereas others have do not capacity, I guess, you know, I don't know. I'm just talking out loud right now. But if you're going to be in this sector, I feel, you know, obviously there's top down in terms of this, but I think that once again, I don't have any problem with higher PE multiples in a stock like NVIDIA than like a stock like Snowflake or something like that. Some of the other names, right? Is it, I mean, that makes sense to everybody, right? So today is the annual stock meeting, right? Holders for NVIDIA. I don't know if there's going to be anything coming out of it, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, small business optimism and CEO confidence. CEO confidence, small business. This is really fascinating, the small business creating like that, right? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. All I know is that we're getting more and more negative macroeconomic data. We'll see. Slowdown in consumption. I mean, look, there's lots of red flags out there. Globally, red flags out there. We'll have to see how that plays out and about, right? Immunization, you guys want to educate yourselves. All right, so this is just came out actually 12 hours ago. This is what the most popular stocks in hedge fund portfolios. Microsoft is number 1, Amazon number 2, Alphabet number 3, 4. Maybe selling a little bit here to buy a little bit here. Don't know, but this is what it looks like. Visa, Morgan, but Lilly is down here, which is fascinating. And I wouldn't even expect it ExxonMobil to be in there, but it is. And you can see here. Honey, what's up?
Good morning.
Good morning, son. What's up? Sorry, see you later tonight. Okay. All right. So here are now for and own Trader Joe's. Well, that happened a long time ago, right? So, as Twins will point out, right, not a lot of stuff has been domestic stuff, and that's why he was talking about with the Whirlpool, and because of its ownership and stuff like that, you know, more than likely. 99% should, but there's a little bit of a short interest in it. I made a little bit of money on it, a couple bucks on it on the news. Let's see if it gets a little bit squeezy or not. It's almost 20% short interest in Whirlpool, so we'll see. But anyways, Okay, yada, 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 open up, inflation in Canada surged again as the country was the first G7 country. Safe travels, okay? I'll see you when you come back.
Okay. I text.
All
I
right,
call.
will you? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, right? First to cut, interest rate, inflation going up. Anyways. So there's an interesting thing about this, there's like tons of gold missing. Thought that was kind of fascinating, right? Estimates that 2,700 metric tons of gold are missing. Missing. From the Chinese gold reserves. Right? Yeah. Or I don't know why it keeps asking me to block people. Among core households, consumer finances are determined. So this whole construct, to be honest with you, is that a lot of this stuff nobody see. We live in our own little bubble, and some people's bubbles are not that good versus our bubbles. Right? So, I mean, one thing I learned a long time ago was be thankful for what you have, right? And, you know, I think that's someone always can have something worse. But anyways, and these are, I mean, this is going to be really interesting to see how things play out. I mean, Congress, obviously, the social services and stuff like, I mean, there's not enough money. It's kind of, I don't know how they fund it, but sort of how this goes forward. I don't know in terms of a lot of these things. The debt, I just don't know. I literally don't know. Conference board consumer expect for stock prices increases versus decreases. Well, you know what that looks like, right? But there's so much money on the sideline. And the stock buybacks, just really fascinating times we live in. All right, so this is if you want, you know, so inclined to look at Elliott Wave, right? Looking for a push up and a pull back. Irregardless, okay, this is that construct that middle of July, right? And it rolls over. How it happens could be earnings, who knows? But I mean, that's how it plays out, right? It's really, really tough the next few weeks to be short this market. Shout out once again. It was interesting though, because I saw it this morning. I have this European site that they text me. They actually saw, and I don't, obviously, I don't know if they had knew anything, but obviously this review trade was fantastic. Nice. Shout out to South Beach on this one. This one worked out really well, obviously, kind of makes you almost done for the day sort of thing. Or makes me done for the day. Apple. We had a cycle high. You know, whatever. You know, Hewlett Warden, it's kind of fascinating. Just here we go. So Nvidia bump, Rivian, I mean $5 bucks. What's the market? Yeah, well, it was 3 something. Stock jumps as Bosch ways takeover bid. Tesla tracks a new bull and stifle. iOS issues real apology to Ken Griffin. Baba Baidu. Space with OpenAI blocks against us. Waymo rolls out ride hailing services. Let's see what's going on here in terms of initiations. So, as you can see here, this FIP, 32%. Then you basically have a lot of lower tier. And a new analyst, Andre from BTIG, is very busy. Rocket Lab, K-Toast, stuff like that, right? And then you have downgrades Neutral to underweight, buy to hold. You may see an Accenture, Morgan Stanley, right, overweight to equal weight, no price change, but notable because it was impacting the stock. And here you go, Hood. Keep an eye on Hood. I'm actually in Hood. I haven't seen any accumulation on it, but I am long it. It's kind of like in that I'm long Hood, I'm long Palantir, some of these names. But this Hood is interesting because it's out of Wolf, but more important than that, outperform, but it's 70% analyst success rate. So anybody who's got a 70% success rate, gives a 26% higher price target, that kind of gets my attention. Like Goldman Sachs, HAGS, neutral to buy, General, and then GFI, Goldfields, buy, but as you can see from BMO, and BMO, you know, I have to tell you, BMO's really good with this stuff, but Raj is only 28% to Saxon, so can't be too excited about that. Intuit, entering strong seasonality, and Republic Services. Once again, still looking for the 2 to 3 cuts by the end of the year. I will say it again, and I really don't think you want to see that, but pretty much baked in 2 cuts, right? 31. We're getting some more divergences, but these are actually some bullish divergence going on, but, and you can see that right here. This is just starting to call. This is the intermediate term, so that's kind of bullish there. And then you can see here, it should make sense to everybody what's going on. Communication services, obviously, people see that. Right? Technology, crude, energy, and then you have money coming out of tech going into industrials. So the staples, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then we have here the summation, right, is green. We haven't seen this in a long time. Right? And we've seen the reset IWM QQQ spot. So this is actually a bullish setup, okay? And it's something that we have to look at. Now, if you look at this as well, the market breadth is basically switching from bearish to bullish. Yes. So this is pretty rarefied. Last time this happened was in 2017. 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Not a lot, but as you can see here, this is more meaningful. This is what we call an oscillator. For 20 sessions, and the reverse is above 0. So that's notable. And here you can see here, strong seasonality into end of the month. So into next week, this is the Dow, sloppy choppy, SPX. Next week is more bullish. And then we have the Russell, right? Which is really interesting. Look, I mean, one day is one day, especially when it comes to the end of the month, right? So, how it plays out. Here's the US 510 steepening a little bit. This inversion is really quite something. And you can see Canada really going up across the board globally. Interest rates are high. Oh, I see. So here's that 2.5, it is bouncing. Here's the 5.10, a little bit below the bid. Here's a 3-month. 10-year, starting to bounce a little bit today. Really interesting stuff going on right now. And I mean, it's really remarkable the stickiness of this. I mean, in my lifetime, we've never seen anything like this, right? In terms of the length and breadth of the inversion. So we're fine stuff going on right now. And obviously nothing changes because everybody's piled into it. But you can see here, this is the bottom quadrant, and I'm happy to see that this is actually holding. So that's really nice to see. And you have the German rates, dollar, nothing there, right? Then we got the cryptos bouncing a little bit, right? Commodities, gold is down, silver's up, copper, platinum. That's just, you know, whack-a-mole, up and down and all the way around. Natty gas is down, gold is up, yada, yada, yada. And you got cocoa, coffee, soybean. I mean, that's to be expected. Let's take a peek. The indices. Tech is flat, a little bit red now. Mix is up a little bit. Small caps are down. So my hedging vehicles are still SDAO and TZA. And it's simply because if, you know, the market, the S&P and the Qs are strong for the next few weeks, I mean, that would be at the expense of, one would assume, the small caps and the down. That's just how it would look. So that's how I have things on right now. DAX all across the board, Europe coming in. Right, Russia continues to bounce. And then you have obviously India, and then China coming in there. Each shares are flat, and say down, so right? So literally, I suspect, well, this is 4 months in, right? I don't know going forward what the catalyst will be, but the reality is that this fast looks like it's going to break down, and then it'll be the next leg down here, and this was the leader, so we have to keep an eye on that overseas globally. FX side really doing nothing but reversion to the mean, not much going on here. KOF same thing, but it is holding the reversion to the mean. So this is the 20 and the 21. Okay, so kind of fascinating. It's being pinned. CQQQ, not much going there. You know, this is the one I told about. This is the one you want to be long QQQ. CQQ, beautiful, breaking out in this flag, curling up nicely. Right? Let's take a look at some of these Chinese names. It's really hard. The only one that I'll be honest with you that I'm in at this point in time is that PDD, it's the only one that I'm in. None of these look attractive to me, right? Bobalicious. Now, but it's coming down a little bit. That is actually the Nasdaq side. Right. There's the Nasdaq, you can see this, right? It's actually into the 1.5 times Fed. Let's bring up the Bollingers and stuff. It's not popularly interesting. There's the Russell. Really, I just saw it, but it got rebuffed at this top here. That top goes back to 2022, right? So that plays out really well, right? Here you can see the futures as well. Holding the flag breakout on the monthly notable, right? Here's the Dow. Consolidator, you can see that. So that plays out. Here's KRE. So that was consolidation, but it did hold this key pivot, this triple bottom, that's notable. Okay, that low. So that's the key pivot point, right? Here's Berkshire. Watch the sunrise rolling over a little bit here, guys. I'm watching Dell pull back, that's what I'm saying. So here's Berkshire, Consolidator. JP Morgan. Consolidated as well, this upper flag. Obviously, earnings will be the driving force on that. Here's Bank of America. Actually holding the breakout pivot, you. And then the next leg up, you can see would be up to here. Kind of interesting looking, but this is the pivot right here. You can see that right there. I don't know why Berkshire doing all these things. And a little bit of some of these fintech, checkpoint software, botnet. You can look at some of these cyber names, right? Zscaler, Datadog. Crowd. Crowd is obviously the strongest, clearly by a long shot. And it is holding that breakout. Keep an eye on that one. But it looks like it needs the flag. You know, this would be on that. So in that sector. There's Palantir. Failure to break out is high, notable. It's no T. On that. So Adobe has Oracle. So Adobe's really been weak against Oracle, obviously. Right, I'm just going through some of these names. Here's Salesforce. Interesting look to this though. It's like candle on the monthly. So, you know, holding that, this is really the moon. Doesn't reclaim, but there's no question that Salesforce has an interesting look. But you can see here, this is the pivot on it for those of you who are there, 238.22. So that plays out. There's iPay coming down off the double top. MasterCard. Holding the 10 EMA is pullback. So that's pretty interesting right there. Got a nice candle here too. So last month's low is obviously pivotal. So what we've seen on a lot of things is a pullback on the monthly of the 10 EMA. And obviously, if we start to see something breaking down, then we're going to basically be reverting back to the mean. and a lot of these things, okay? So that's kind of the risk reward that you're talking about right now. Got a little bit of a double top there. It's got some room on the downside here, American Express. But as you can see here, a lot of these names, these are MasterCard, right? Consolidator, but holding, but failed breakout. So you can see here this double bottom is notable and important in Visa, right? And you can see here Visa strength inside pay. And here's MasterCard Visa, which is really interesting because MasterCard had outperformed and now it's starting to revert back to the mean. So I kind of find that interesting right now. So that's coming back. You can see at the expense with Visa. So basically I'm kind of thinking about Visa. If these start to rally, right, it would be Visa. And this is basically Visa against PayPal, which is kind of interesting. Right? So that breaks out. So of the fintech names, you know, the finance, PayPal, stuff like that, Visa is the one that looks the best. And, you know, I can't put lipstick on this pig with PayPal. I just can't. You know, it just, the market has spoken, right? And then you have Square here, block. And this looks double bottom here, but this looks heavy, guys. For those of you who are interested in that. And that's pretty much that. Okay. So this is obviously the SMH. I want to look at the micron against this stuff because it does have earnings, right? So SMH with micron. So basically pretty stable right there. You can see that. Let's take a look at micron against.
All righty, Beth, ready to pop on here.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys, what's going on? Let me just pop up the screen share, get right into it. So if you guys are new to chat and read down some, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed. So you're gonna pop into chat. It's gonna look something a little bit like this. For sure to go to when you guys do come in, disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, I'll link to the disclaimer as well as this bold the risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys. Most important rational trading stuff you worth checking out there in that regard. Below that, we have the summary of how this chat works, breaks down the channels work on the left-hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat through the day. Important to know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the opposite equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that we have Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, SPX rules that we have every single day. Continue to scroll down. We have any of a small account, less than 10K, breaking down. If you have a smaller account, less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you can put in place. You can better manage your account. How to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective below that. And lastly, how can fix small account trades posted in that area when they do make sense. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. Pre-market tickers on watch. Tesla, NVIDIA, FedEx, TSM, Rivian, and OPTX. Tesla gapping up and sitting at the market. NVIDIA gapping up, sitting at the market as well. FedEx gapping up on earnings. TSM, I think it's gapping up more so in sympathy with semiconductors, but you know, they're reportedly looking to establish a CoWoS advanced packaging plant in Pingtung, Taiwan to meet rising demand. I don't know. I think it's just sympathy, but whatever. I saw that news, so I thought I posted. Rivian shares of Rivian rocketed following news that Volkswagen plans to invest up to $5 billion in electric pickup maker, and obviously, you know, those 12 calls everyone's in from yesterday, guys, are gonna be at Sheila, so that's really awesome. Big props and South Beach for putting that on our radars. Very nice. OPTX, Power Technologies, got a government contract gapping up on that. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first you're gonna be looking at, guys, gonna be testing the video. Just give me a second for this other platform to load up. There we go. Second for it to load. All right, let's take a look at Tesla and NVIDIA here, guys. All right, Tesla pivot to the upside today, 186.47, level holds 191.61, 196.24, unable to hold 180.33 to the 174.88 downside, leaning bullish. We're looking for continuation push higher for pivot points able to hold. That is NVIDIA. So that is Tesla. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. 128.54 pivot level holds 131.30, 134.58. Unable to hold 125.78 to 123.07 downside leading bullish. You're looking for a continuation push higher. Let's take a look at this FedEx here, guys. $291.38 pivot level holds 297.84, 305.30. Unable to hold with a pull backwards 286.62 to 281.68. Going to be leaning bullish. You're looking for continuation push higher. All right, 173.22 pivot levels able to hold the upper towards 176.04, 179.08. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards 170.50 to the 167.46 downside leaning bullish neutral. If that pivot point is able to hold as well on that. Looks like it's come back a little bit in. Let's take a look at the next two here. Pivot to the upside today, 1685 on Rivian. Levels able to hold 1714.9 to 1883. Unable to hold 1598, 1518 downside leaning bullshit. We're looking for continuation push higher today. If the pivot point is able to stay intact. See how much more the stick can squeeze. Definitely be looking to unwind almost all those options up the gate and maybe look to roll after that. We'll definitely hold a little bit of a core, but yeah. Take the money and run, baby. Okay, OBTX. Pivot to the upside today, 748, level hold 626, 826, 895. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 697, 639. I got some other levels there on there for you guys. I'm gonna be leaning on the bearish neutral side there today, looking for a little bit of a pullback. All right, let's take a look at SPY and FANG. 544.12 pivots to the downside today. Levels unable to hold 543.13, 542.35, able to hold 545.15, 545.79 upside. Going to be leaning on the looks like bullish neutral side there today. See if this pivot point can hold. So we get a little bit of a bounce. SPY. Let's take a look at Apple. At 210.56 pivot level holds 211.30. That level breaks. We have room for continuation into the 212. Unable to hold 209.74, 209.06 downside, leaning bullish neutral. Let's take a look at Amazon. 186.48 pivot to the upside today. Level holds 187.77, 189.24. Unable to hold 185.31 to 183.87 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side there today. The pivot point's able to hold at is Amazon. Let's take a look at Netflix. 671.47 pivot level holds. 676.52, 682.87. Unable to hold. We look for pullback towards 662.67 to 655.84 downside leaning bullish. We're looking for a continuation push higher. Pivot point's able to hold. 510.74 pivot level holds. You get room towards 513.47, 519.68. Unable to hold 507.69 to 505.04 downside leaning bullish. Neutral looking for a continuation push higher there. Google. All right, Google 182.87 pivot levels able to hold 184.28, 185.50, unable to hold 180, 180 to 180.81 on the downside. Pivot gets reclaimed. I'll be leaning bullish. Needs to get reclaimed though, otherwise, obviously we see continuation lower. All right, guys, so that's spots fang. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. Gonna go ahead and pass it over to South Beach while I type up the pre-market action plan. Then we'll do a quick little recap for the open. South Beach Freddie, she's all yours.
Morning, guys. All right, let's see what's doing here. I see the futures are coming in somewhat, right? Anyway, let's look at the SPYs and the Qs. So good EMA support, both daily and weekly. So they look pretty good, okay? The Qs look good, the SPYs look good, and whatever. I'm just a little cautious because of the move we've had, the time of year we're at, a lot of stuff like that. So I'm kind of neutralish, I guess, even though the charts are bullish. So that's my stance on these things for now, even though, like I said, the charts are very bullish. I'm just not feeling it. Okay. I don't really think they can take off from these levels until we see earnings, and maybe that'll propel us up. But until then, I think we kind of mark time on tech. So we'll see how that goes. If I look at the Russell, there on the daily, you have the 1017 cross, but I don't use the daily, it's just a guide. So that one kind of looks crappy. But if you look at the weekly, it's kind of neutralish. And so that's my stance in the Russell, kind of neutral. If I had to pick a side, it's tough. I'm pretty neutral. I can, it's like a 50-50 toss up for me. All right. If I look at the transports, the FedEx is going to help today, right? So it's going to get some EMA support, I would assume, on the daily. But the weekly still has that 1017 cross, and that's my real, standout. That's what guides me. And until that flips, I'm going to stay negative on transports, even though I don't think they have a lot of downside. All right. What's going to rule the day? Is the FedEx or is it the love, which kind of shit the bed a little bit? We'll see. It's probably FedEx, but we'll see. And last but not least, the utility average is kind of neutral. It's come in somewhat, but I think the fundamentals for this group are pretty damn good. So I'm kind of thinking this is good. Yeah, I agree with you, Twins, on the FedEx for sure. All right. And so on the utilities, even though the charts aren't negative, or they're kind of neutralish to slightly bullish, I kind of like the group because of that whole building out the grid, AI, all that other bullshit. Okay, so that's where I stand on the technicals. Let's look at any changes. We have the PCE deflator on Friday, so that's going to really affect the bond market. So until then, I think it marks time. Like it came in a little yesterday, rates are a little higher today, but basically staying around the same level. 428.6 on the 10-year. That's come down quite a bit from that 474 level we saw in late April, early May. And I think this is the right level. 2% inflation, 200 basis points above inflation. And I think if, we're not really at 2, we're kind of at higher than that. So I think the bond market is appropriately priced, no matter what the Fed says and no matter what the PCE deflator says. Okay, I think the 10-year stays where it is. Where there's room to come in is the shorter end of the curve. Okay, that's what will get affected, because then, the Fed will posture that they'll lower rates or whatever the case may be. 472 versus 5 a month or so ago. That 210 spread is 44, kind of a little less than yesterday, but at the high end of the recent range. And we'll see what that is. But the 10-year, I think, is here for good, for a while. I don't think it's going any lower. That's my sense. Okay. Short end, different story. And basically it's the same in London. Their rates are up, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 across the board. And the rest of the Eurozone more of the same. Okay, so rates slightly higher, but basically running in place after they came down a little bit. Commodity wise, we have oil above that 80 level. There's Mideast stuff going on. We'll see what happens with that. Natural gas has come in a little bit from the highs, but I think it still looks pretty damn good. And that's 270. Gold, silver, copper. Copper's coming quite away from that 5 and 30 level down to 430, up from 350. So it's given back about, I don't know, half the move, a little less than that. I still think copper's in a good way. And all these agricultural commodities, we see cocoa's come in a little bit. Cotton's gone up a little bit. These things are trading in their own world. And for the most part, they don't really affect what we do every day. Currency wise, dollar's having a good day. Okay. Up against the European currencies, up against the yen, up against the Chinese currency, up against the euro and pound, 106. So Spartan's going to Europe. 106 is a really good level. Okay. You may not see 106. I think that's about as good as you're going to get. Pound is 126. So spend away, my man. Crypto wise, we got Bitcoin down 1%. We got Ethereum down a little more than that, and Solana down a little more than that, 1.5 on each of those guys. And let's look at the foreign markets. Okay, let's see what we got. We got the FTSE down 0.5%, the DAX down 0.5%, the CAC no one gives a shit about. Nikkei is up 1%, China's up 1%, Hong Kong's flat. I always wonder why Hong Kong and China don't trade kind of similarly, being that, there's so much overlap, but whatever, that's what it is. And Taiwan's up 0.5%. Okay, so that's your backdrop. Banks and Fed, we have the PCE on Friday, and we have no Fed governor speaking today. So I don't think they're in a quiet period yet. So I just guess they ran out of shit to say, and they're giving us a day off from their nonsense. Okay, I see the futures came in somewhat. I don't know. I think we're at really, this time of year to experience big gains. Generally, no. Generally. Anyway, the banks and Fed, China, Russia, we'll talk about it in a minute. Crypto, we got Mr. Market yesterday. So it was kind of, back to the same old, right? From what we saw on, what was it, Monday? When we had a flop the nut day where the bad was good and the good was bad. Back to the same old shit. Semis, FANG, and Bitcoins were up. Consumer non-durables, HMOs, hospitals, home builders, manufacturing, retail, all down. Okay, so the Dow, just to show you how tech heavy the SPYs and NASDAQ are, and how concentrated in just a few names they are. The Dow was down 300, the SPYs were up 17, and NASDAQ was up 215. Transports were down 120. It just shows you that, how these indexes kind of sort of work. All right. Because the S&Ps are up doesn't mean shit about the Dow, and, S&Ps and NASDAQ trade together, but the Dow and the transports and those averages are in their own little world. Okay, so that was yesterday. S&P snapped a 3-day losing streak. Looks like they may start another one today. We'll see. This Mohammed El-Arian thinks the Fed should cut rates in July. I think he's smoking something, and I couldn't disagree more with him. I think you got to wait, and if you're too early, Mr. Burns was too early, and he went down as the worst Fed governor of all time. No one's going to make that mistake, so Mr. El-Arian should stick it. Right now, the percentage of people thinking we're going to get a cut is 10% in July. 90% say no, nothing happening. Okay, we have that debate on Thursday. What's that? Tomorrow. I think a lot of people are going to be watching that. I think it should be interesting, plus entertaining. This Julian Assange, whatever his freaking name is, pleads guilty and they let him go. Typical of yeah, I'm not going to go there. The IRS is apologizing to Ken Griffin for releasing his tax returns. They also released Musk and Bezos. And I don't believe it was an accident. Okay, and I think he should sue the bastards. That's just not right. Okay, and they did it with Trump. Like, what do they release? What they feel like releasing and give it to the public so the public gets pissed off? I think that's so wrong. It's as wrong as the day is long. And apology. Fuck the apology. Write the check. Give it to charity. KKR completed its biggest purchase of apartment buildings. They paid $2.11 billion. They bought 5,200 apartment buildings, multifamily, obviously, California, Texas, and New Jersey. Then they got this problem in Kenya. I guess a lot of demonstrating about, I don't even know what they're demonstrating about, but their debt crisis. I don't know. Whatever. 5 people were killed. So they got problems in another hot area of the world. What else we got? Kramer's favorite pet stocks are SJM, Elon, and Chewy. Elon's kind of interesting. You know, it was a spinoff from someone good. I forget who. Maybe Zoetis or someone like that. Yen is the lowest level since 1986. So you may see the BOJ do something about that. CNBC is saying hedge funds are dumping tech stocks, especially chip stocks. And they see that continuing into the second half. No opinion on that. OPCO, top pick for second half, Goldman, Domino's, Broadcom, Walmart, CNC, and International Flavors and Fragrances. There's a fund out there called Hennessy Fund. They call it Cornerstone Global Growth, and they've been beating the market consistently without having these crazy tech stocks, no Nvidia, no nothing. If you get a chance, read what they're. You find this really interesting, Twins. Go see how they rank their stocks. It was written up in CNBC last night. I thought it was really interesting. They have all these metrics that they use, and it's, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? And they're just not 1 year; it's over a good period of time. The biggest stocks now are SMCI, which obviously is a tech, MOD, STRL, AMR. That's about the only one. Green Brick, YPF, CRS, WFT, FIX. I thought it was interesting. U.S. auto sales expected to slow in the second half. Home prices hit another record, up 6.3% year over year. And I think they're up, here it is, they're up 47% since 2020. Not my house, but I guess some of yours. No one's moving because they have low interest rates, right? So if you got 3% or lower and you got to take a 9% mortgage, it's going to take a real push to get you off the dime. So that's why the inventory levels are so low. Waymo, which is the division of Google, they're going to have these driverless cars available to everyone in San Francisco. We'll see how that test goes. FedEx, you saw, beat the numbers after hours. Bank of America, housing market to remain stuck until at least 2026, meaning there's not a whole lot of inventory, not a whole lot of transactions. Housing affordability is at the lowest level since God knows when. Okay, you have to make it trades at currently 5x times the average person's income. That's a problem. Okay. AI data center boom is coming. Jeffries names DLR, EQIX, EQT, and FCX as big beneficiaries. This kind of surprised me. What Americans are watching and streaming. Number one, you would think is what? Netflix? Well, it's not. It's YouTube. 9.7% of all viewing is YouTube. 7.6% is Netflix, and after that, it falls off big time. I would say for me, I would say I predominantly watch YouTube. I don't know. I think it kind of like gets you in a rabbit hole and you just see all kinds of shit and anything you're interested in. So I find it great. The Chinese yuan, they're trying to make this a global currency, but they need to trade more with oil and stuff like that for it to get any traction. I don't see that happening. VW did that investment in Rivian, $5 billion, $1 billion up front. The additional $4 billion is after they establish a JV, and that saves that company pretty good. Moving on, FedEx had good earnings. WHR, there's a story out there from Reuters that Bosch is looking to buy them or considering buying them. Rivian, we discussed. SVRA announces some, biotech. All I have to do is say biotech. It's some bullshit, right? So they achieve whatever statistical significance in that one. This TGLS is reviewing alternatives, reiterates their outlook. Stock's up 11% on that. ANNX positive is presenting phase 3 trials. That was up. VSTO got a takeover offer from MNC Capital for $42 a share. Lucid is up in sympathy with the Rivian. I'm long Lucid, as you know. PL reducing headcount. Fun considering, they want to do a Fun and Six Flags merger. KNSA got into a supply agreement. MEI, new CEO. Gap Store's got a positive Barron's article. I just don't understand how ANF could be so good and these other ones not so good, like Gap and American Eagle and stuff like that. So I'm kind of thinking there may be a room for these retailers to go up, but I want to see the move before I'm not anticipating it. I want to see volume and direction before I get involved. But that's my kind of like preconceived notion. We'll see if I see it in the market, then I'll make a move. NTLA, new CFO. ENVX, MOU with battery manufacturer Elantech. Chipotle is 50-for-1 split, takes effect today. VIR got fast track designation. Insider buying in LGF. PROK was pretty substantial, 20 million. NRBO, 8 million. I think the LGF is good because there's another guy in it that I respect a lot, and I think 2 guys puts him over the hump. On the negative side, watch the love. That lower RASM number is not good, and it's the second or third time in a row these guys screwed up. WR and General Mills missed. As far as actionable ideas, on the short side, I like this APTV, Piper call. On the long side, I like Shop. And maybe this Apple call out of Rosenblatt will get some traction. And I like the Frog call out of Barclays. Okay, that's it. I'm going to pass it to Spartan because I'm out of time. And Spartan, it's all yours.
Thank you, South Beach. Guys, morning, what's up? What's going on? So if you guys are new to chat or you've done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed so you can pop into chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, disclaimer section, click on that, give it a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you got a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, most important ratio in trading, so nothing worth checking out there. Continue to scroll down with the summary of how this chat works. Breaks all the channels work on the left-hand side, so we'll probably navigate chat through the day. Below this, options, or sorry, how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Options rules that we use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts. SPX rules right below that. Continue to scroll down. We have any small account, less than 10K, breaking down it to a smaller account, less than 10K. Some rules, information, discipline you can put in place. You can better manage your account. How to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective below that. Let's take a look at pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got going on today, guys? A couple different things. Everything's posted, so if you guys are watching the YouTube stream, you can just pause it and read this. There you go. There you go. What do we got? So, Tesla, NVIDIA, FedEx, TSM, Rivian, OPTX. Let's take a look. So Tesla, guys, gapping up and tipping through the market. NVIDIA gapping up and tipping the market. FedEx gapping up on earnings. TSM is reportedly looking to establish COA's advanced packaging plan in Bethune, Taiwan to meet raising demand. Rivian shares gapping up after the Volkswagen plans to invest in up to 5 million electric market pickup. Let's take a look at FedEx gapping up on, OPTX. Ocean Power Technologies has the most volume this morning on a government contract. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. All right, one sec. Okay, so just grab the thing here, guys. Then we're right to do it. All right, so let's take a look at Tesla and NVIDIA. Tesla guys pivoted to the upside today. We got B 186.47 level holds 191.61, 186.24. I need to hold 180.33 to 170.48 downside leaning bullshit. We're looking for continuation push higher. NVIDIA pivot to the upside today 128.54 level holds 131.30, 134.58. I need to hold 125.78, 123.07. Leaning bullshit. We're looking for a retest of that pivot point right now. We'll see what happens in the morning though. Looks a little bit bearish to me. FedEx 291.38 level hold 297.84 305.30 unable to hold 286.62 281.68 leaning bullish neutral. TSM unable to hold. We got room towards 173.22 unable to hold 170.50 167.46 able to hold 176.04 to 179.08. Be switching that. I think I'll be leading bearish neutral on that one today. Rivian really nice move 16.85 pivot the level hold 17.40 18.83 unable to hold 15.98 15.18 and then OPTX. We got the 748 pivot level holds 826, 895, unable to hold 697, 639 downside leading bullish control. Let's take a look at the spine of the bank. Market, my friends. Again, we'll see what happens with this pivot point. It's going to be really important. Out the gate, we can take it a little bit slower for sure, just because of the movement. 544.12 pivot to the upside, or actually downside today. This level is reclaimed room higher into the 545.15 resistance breaks. You see the 545.79 tested. Pivot unable to hold. Room lower into the 543.13 support breaks. We see the 542.35 tested. Leaning bearish. Neutral. Let's take a look at Apple. Pivot to the upside today. 210.56 level holds 211.30, 212, unable to hold 209.74, 209.06 on the upside, enable neutral. Amazon pivot upside today. 186.48 level holds 187.77, 189.24, unable to hold 185.31, 183.87 downside leading bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at Netflix. Pivot to the upside today. 671.47 level hold 676.52, 682.87. Unable to hold 662, 67, 655, 84. Any bullish neutral. Meta. 510.74 level holds 513.47, 516.98. Unable to hold 507.69 to 505.04. leaning on the bearish side if that pivot point is unable to hold. Google pivot upside today, guys. Going to be 182.87 level holds, 184.28, 184, sorry, 185.50. Unable to hold 181, 80, 180, 81 downside leaning bullshit roll. VIX QSI WM, VIX pivot 1311 level holds, 1346, 1387. Unable to hold 1285, 1258 downside QQQs. Pivot to the downside today, 479.67 level holds, 477. Sorry, unable to hold 477.20, 473.76, able to hold 42.67 to 46.83. And then last but not least, guys, SPX 54.69 pivot, unable to hold 54.48, 54.36, 54.88. It's able to hold to 55.06. So that's SPY, SPANG. Those are the individual names, guys, that we're looking at today. You guys popped into the YouTube stream, saying thanks for watching. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it. Sorry, not pass it over anyway. Close down the YouTube stream, guys, and then any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll take a look in chat, my friend.